Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you, it has been a rough-ass 24 hours, or at the very least, I'd say a rough-ass 12 or so hours. John and I, and John is here. John, go ahead and say something.
What's up, guys? I'm gonna let my co-commentator here keep explaining, so continue.
Yeah, we met up around 1 today in hopes that we would be recording our live reactions and our commentary to G1 Climax Day 11. And immediately there was a problem, because immediately our usual program that we use to record these audio files, because obviously our videos are all just audio files with a background image on them, the program that we used to record the audio files was not working. It's called MP3 Skype Recorder, and I was using an older version. It was version 3.1.1.2, and it had been working brilliantly for months. And years even. It's been amazing, and it's really never given us too many problems. It would occasionally not record, but it had gotten to the point that I could tell when it was and wasn't recording, because a certain bit of text would pop up when it was actually properly recording, telling you the file size. So I could tell. So that wasn't even a problem. And then in recent months, we were starting to have an issue where it would say, oh, hey, there's an unhandled exception, and you have to either continue or quit. And if you quit, we'll shut down MP3 Skype Recorder, and if you continue, it'll continue running, but it's not actually recording your call. So, if I would hit quit, it would close, and then when I would open it back up again, it would still pretend to be recording, but it wouldn't actually be recording. It wouldn't actually be creating an audio file. So I would stop it and then hit record again, and the exact same error would pop up. And for months now, we've been getting this, but every time it pops up, I've been able to restart my computer, and when it came back up, I was able to use MP3 Skype Recorder just fine. It would be, no problems, no error, no nothing. And then today happened, and I restarted my computer, and I pulled up MP3 Skype Recorder, and I hit record, and the exact same error popped up. So then I was thinking, oh, you know what? I probably forgot to end the process and to actually stop it, because I always try and hit continue for just troubleshooting and potential, trying to find the actual problem, rather than quitting the application and having to restart it and all that jazz. So I hit continue, and I, forgot to stop it. So I was thinking, okay, well, maybe if I stop it from recording and then end the process specifically with my task manager, rather than just letting, Windows automatically close it as I shut it down, that, okay, maybe that will, fix the error. So I did all that and restarted, and the error didn't go away. So then I did some Googling, and I did some research, and if there was something that said something about an unhandled exception error, and I went into that, and it said, okay, go into this folder in your app data, in your user folder, and delete the config, because your config file got corrupted. And I did that, and then I went back to MP3 Skype Recorder, started it up, same problem. It kept creating the same config file, and the config file must have kept being corrupted or something. But regardless, for some reason or another, just randomly today, that MP3 Skype Recorder that's been an old reliable that's always worked for me stopped working. So we downloaded the latest version of MP3 Skype Recorder, thinking, okay, this is obviously not as convenient as the one that we were using, because the one that we were using takes up anywhere from like 15 to maybe 50 at most megabytes of RAM. I only have 4 gigs of RAM on my laptop. It's not a great computer. I have a better computer that I still need to finish putting together that I bought last summer. But the new one takes up over 250 megabytes of RAM, which is, it's a 1/16th of my total RAM, which doesn't seem like much, but when you also take into account that I have Google Chrome running, and Skype running, and a few other programs running that I use to edit and encode and that kind of stuff, and when I say I have Google Chrome running, I mean I have like 12 tabs pulled up. It adds up, and it makes my computer run slower, and it's just not fun. But, we can handle that inconvenience, whatever. So we recorded our English commentary to part 1, the tag matches of G1 Climax Day 11, and we were really getting into it, and we were awesome. It was happy, or we were happy, and it was awesome, I should say. And then when we finished, I went back to listen to that audio file, and it sounded okay. But then eventually I noticed a weird little skip where John would be saying something, and then he would kind of talk over himself somehow. Like there was some kind of artifact in the audio there that was kind of causing little weird delays and then like it was like trying to catch up to itself, or it would sound like John was on fast forward for a brief second, or like he would like skip backwards rather than forward. It was weird. If you're old enough to have ever had CD players and CDs, it sounds like what would happen if a CD player would skip. And then I fast forwarded a few minutes and noticed it was happening there. So, and then I scrolled to the very end of the video and I noticed that it was happening even towards the end of the video. So that tells me that it's just happening throughout the entire video. I don't want to upload an audio file that is of such poor quality. So that's more on me. That being said, because the issue arose with that, then we're thinking, okay, well, if neither one of these MP3 Skype recorders is going to work, we need to find something to record our Skype calls so that we can continue doing TWitWoW just in general. So John and I both scoured the internet looking for free voice call recorders that work with Skype, and found jack all. There is some stuff out there, but a lot of stuff that has malware in it, a lot of stuff that has adware on it, a lot of stuff that has a limit to how long your recording file can be before you have to buy the pro version. As you guys know, most of our files are 45 minutes at minimum, and we can go for over 2 hours like we did this past Monday for our Monday Night Raw TWitWoW. So we really just struggled, and the one that we ended up landing on wasn't even necessarily a Skype recorder. It was just a voice call recorder in general called, I believe, Zencaster, without the E at the end. It's Zencast, and then just an R. And it was nice, and it worked relatively well, but we were still noticing these weird little artifacts in our call, and it was happening with both of us and not just John at this point. So we feel stuck. And then that was all just, before 7, because then 7 o'clock p.m. rolls around, and yes, we were trying to figure this out the entire time, other than the 52 minutes it took for us to record what is now defunct version of G1 Climax Day 11 Part 1 Tag Matches commentary. And so then 7 o'clock rolls around, I'm sick of everything. John says, yeah, dude, you need to unwind, you need to relax. So I decide I'm going to go out, I'm going to get some food, get some groceries, and then just kind of relax, do a car drive. It always calms me down for the most part. So I get out to my driveway, and I hold down the brake to shift from park into reverse because I need to pull out of my driveway. And as I push down on my brake, I hear something click, and it sounded like a metallic click, like a ding, but it wasn't a ding. It was like a, metallic sounding click. And next thing you know, I have my brake compressed all the way down to the floor, and my car is still moving. So I'm freaking out. In what I thought at the time was a clutch move, I put my car into park, because I'd had this problem happen before, and I put the car into park, and we stopped, but my car didn't stop even though it was on park. My brakes had officially shit the bed. So I'm backing up, and our driveway is on a hill. And I am really not trying to go down this hill and pick up however much momentum I would have picked up going down this hill, because I don't know where I would have ended up. So in what I thought was a quick thinking kind of action, swerved my vehicle, driving backwards at this point because we're in reverse, to try and hit a tree. And I thought that was, it would do some damage to my car, but for the most part we'd still be okay. My car would stop, we wouldn't keep rolling down this hill, and, just kind of take my losses and be done with it. But sadly I missed the tree, ended up kind of continuing rolling backwards into my neighbor's yard, side-scraped their shed, and then found another tree that I managed to back my car into, except because we had gone down a small hill, we had picked up a little bit of momentum, and it actually kind of jarred me loose pretty bad. Basically, my car seat's in the front because I was taking my mom along with me for groceries and taking her out to eat for food and stuff. She was in the passenger seat. She is pretty much completely fine. She's got a little bit of achiness in her back. I'm a little bit more bruised up and scraped up and stuff, but it's fine. I'll live. But the seats in my front seat, luckily, were pretty tough, because I imagine that if they were looser, I probably would have ended up going back and hitting my head on my rear my rear windshield. So because my seats are relatively tough in my car, my mom and I both broke our seats with the impact on the tree and flying backwards. I ended up in the back seat with basically my head inches away from the actual back of the back seat, to the point that I would have actually hit my head, but I didn't, luckily. My mom was still in her seat, but her seat had completely reclined to the point that her head was basically on the front of the back seat. We are both fine, as in no permanent long-term damage. However, it shook me up quite a bit, and it took a few hours to kind of get everything situated. We had to call AAA. They came out. Oddly enough, as messed up as my trunk is, and my left side view mirror is dangling by a cord, and obviously my seats aren't in great shape, my car is still... It still turns on, it can still be driven, and the AAA guy, when he showed up, I guess he actually drove my car into my driveway, rather than using some kind of a tow truck or anything like that. So that's where I'm at. I don't know how I'm going to get around at this point. I don't know how I'm going to be able to go out and do anything. And we're still, at this point, using the version of MP3 Skype Recorder that we used to record part 1 of G1 Climax Day 11, where we're unfortunately, if you're listening to this, it's probably kind of annoying, because there are probably odd little voice artifacts and skips and stuff like that in here. So I apologize for that, but we're kind of stuck at this point.
Yeah, we really can't think of a better solution. I mean, at the last minute, because I restarted my computer at one point, and I noticed my Skype had updated. I said, Ashton, you might want to update your Skype and use the latest version of Skype Recorder. So, hopefully that works out. I don't know what this file is going to sound like when it's all done, but it has just been a really deflating day, guys, and that's coming from me. That's not even touching on everything my cohort and commentary here went through. So, yeah, it was awful. But you know something? It's going to be a new day tomorrow. We'll put it behind us, and we'll just be the team that you guys know us to be. We're just sorry for everything, the inconvenience and everything, but a lot clearly has happened, but we'll bounce back.
Yeah, and I do want to let you guys know that we are still planning on talking about NXT tonight, because that was kind of the big story. Lots of stuff happened on NXT, and personally, I, having watched it, want to talk about it. I know... some people might be like, no, you need to relax. Don't put any kind of strain on yourself. You were in a car accident or whatever. But I watched NXT when I got home, which was at 10 o'clock. And again, this whole thing started at 7, so it was a 3-hour affair. I got home around 10, and I got on with John, explained everything to him. He said that he had already watched NXT and that he took notes, and I said, well, you know what? I want to watch NXT too, and I'm going to take my own notes, and then we're going to tell everyone what happened, and then we're going to do NXT TWitWoW. So, first of all, no TWitWoW, because that requires me to be high energy, and I'm just not at all tonight, and I think that's pretty understandable from you guys. So no NXT TWitWoW. Maybe, I want to emphasize maybe we can do Cruiserweight Classic live reactions tomorrow, but again, I don't know how our MP3 Skype recorder is going to hold out. I don't really know what we can do about that. If any of you guys, if anybody in the comments or if you want to send it to Twitter or Facebook or whatever, if anybody has any sort of advice on what we can do to record our Skype calls that isn't the latest version of MP3 Skype Recorder, which, again, you're hearing it right now because that's what we're using. But we would be happy to hear any kind of suggestions, and you might even save TWitWoW. And I'm not saying TWitWoW's ending, but you might save us from having shit quality sounding podcasts from here on out. So that's big. And again, we might try and get Cruiserweight Classic live reactions out tomorrow, depending on how good or bad this particular recording sounds. I don't know. And that being said, again, it has been a horrible day, horrible 12 hours, I would say. and hopefully we can bounce back from this, but we want to apologize for not getting all of the content we normally would get up today out. But, we have G1 Day 11, G1 Day 12, and the Cruiserweight Classic left. We are going to be doing NXT TWitWoW tonight just because I want to, and I'm insisting on it. But those 3 other big shows, the 2 G1 shows and the CWC, we're probably going to find a way to get those out over the course of the next 4 or 5 days. So hopefully we have all that stuff out by Saturday, because then Saturday's another G1 day and I don't want to have to get that far behind. So we're not giving up. B, we're not dead. Luckily. C, I was in kind of a shitty car accident that I really could do nothing to prevent other than being loaded and being able to afford to buy brand new brakes every 6 months rather than every couple years, because apparently the guy that I was taking my car to has been replacing my brakes once every 2 or 3 years, so apparently either I'm really rough on my brakes or he's really shitty at his job. That being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, and that's another thing, I really need to stop saying that being said. I've been starting to catch myself, and it's becoming a frickin' verbal tick of mine. But anyway, guys, we're gonna close it out here, because if we don't, I'm gonna end up starting to ramble. I feel like I kind of already have been. So, John, if you have anything else, if you remember something that maybe I forgot that you want to let people know about, go ahead.
No, I think you covered all our bases, partner. You're good.
Okay, so we will see you guys later tonight. Again, no TWitWoW, because, again, that requires me to be high energy, and I am just not capable of high energy right now. But we will do TWitWoW, because I do want to talk about NXT. I am excited about it, and I do want to get our thoughts about the show out there to you guys. We got a few tweets talking about NXT, and before I even go there, I do want to say I'm not angry at people telling me about wrestling when I was in this car accident. It happens. Nobody could have possibly known about it. I'm just gonna move on, and I'm glad you guys are still talking to me about wrestling, because I don't want all the conversation to be, oh, Ashton, are you okay? Oh, are you gonna be all right? Yes, I'm gonna be fine. I have a couple gashes, one on my left hip, one on my right calf, and my left forearm is kind of messed up a little bit, but I don't have any broken bones. I don't have any kind of bad, horrible, inch-deep gashes or anything. It's all just kind of annoying and a little bit painful, and I'm going to be stiff for the next few days, but other than that, I'm fine. And we will see you guys for NXT TWitWoW.